Hi, my name is Lindy and thank you for watching my channel. If you are new to my videos, welcome. Today I'd like to show you 3 easy and delicious mushroom salads. All 3 salads are served at room temperature and have very few ingredients in them. In all 3 salads, the mushroom is the hero of the dish, which intensifies the earthy, umami flavor. So let's begin making our mushroom salads 3 ways. First of all, we have the button mushrooms. We're going to make this button mushroom salad using a bottle of salad dressing. It's a vinaigrette dressing and there's a variety on the shelves. In fact, I saw one with raspberries in it, but I thought this looked really nice with toasted sesame seeds. You can also make your own dressing with equal quantities of vinegar and olive oil, and then your own herbs. But I thought this was a nice adaptation and it's really quick and easy. We're going to place these button mushrooms straight into the pot. Some are a little bit larger, but that's fine. They'll all cook nicely together. And then we're going to add this bottle of toasted sesame vinaigrette. Give it a good shake and cover the mushrooms. You can see some of the sesame seeds. We're now going to switch it on and bring it to the boil. Cover with the lid. Once it begins to boil, just give them a little mix around so they're not sticking. And try to submerge them in the liquid. Switch off and leave them to cool. The mushrooms we buy are commercially grown in peat moss. Peat moss holds the moisture for the mushrooms to grow. You will notice on the mushrooms a little peat moss that is left behind. This is not bad for us. Just be aware that there may be little bits of grit in them that you don't want to consume. I found this piece of peat moss in one of the containers, and if you feel it, it's just like a piece of soil. There's no grit in it. The second salad is using the Cremini mushrooms. Cremini mushrooms are large button mushrooms. So these have just been picked a little later in the growing cycle. There are certain herbs that go best with mushrooms, such as oregano, parsley. I'm going to try some dill herbs today, but usually thyme or tarragon would be the better option. We're going to make the next mushroom salad with raw cremini. Slice them up and marinate them. Not all mushrooms taste good raw, and if you've ever tried porcini or shiitake mushrooms raw, you'll notice it leaves a strange taste on your tongue. So porcini and shiitake are best cooked. The first mushroom salad is now in the pot behind me, which is just cooling down. We all know that mushrooms contain a large percentage of water, so you'll notice how they shrink quite a lot. I'm going to slice these up now, but after time, as they marinate, they're going to shrink as well. So together with the sliced mushrooms, we're going to be using some of these peppers. You can use any sizes you like. I'm going to use a variety of colors and chop them finely. I'm also going to chop up these 3 green onions and just a little dill because we know it's quite an overpowering herb. I'm then going to make a dressing with predominantly olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and here I have mustard powder, nutritional yeast, which adds to that umami flavor, some black pepper and salt. And we're going to mix it together in this jar, and in between we're going to be layering it. So to cut your mushrooms, you can use a number of ways. You can hand cut them. You can even buy the ready cut ones in the shop. They are a little bit thick, but they'll just take a bit longer to marinate. And then you can also slice them in your machine or with a mandolin. But today I'm going to use the machine behind me just to slice them up. And because it's being sliced in a machine, they're not going to be perfect shapes, and you're not going to see the perfect little mushroom with the stalk and the cap. You're going to just see however it comes through the machine. So let's slice these mushrooms. Once the mushrooms are sliced, you'll be able to gauge the size of the bowl you're going to make your mushroom marinated salad in. Here we have the chopped green onion and a small amount of dill. And we've got 8 mini sweet peppers in red, yellow and orange. So I've just chopped those up. We're going to make our salad dressing. Now the salad dressing is predominantly olive oil, and I'm going to put in about 4 tablespoons of olive oil. You know how much I love olive oil. Then I'm going to put in a little bit of this balsamic vinegar, which is the glazed vinegar. And of course, salad dressing is very much on your taste. Teaspoon of mustard, powder mustard. You can use jar mustard, doesn't have to be powdered. And I've got here a tablespoon of nutritional yeast. Over here we're going to put in some freshly ground black pepper, and I'm putting in maybe half a teaspoon. We're going to add a teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon of water. And all that's left to do now is to give it a nice shake. And finally, we're going to start layering the salad. So I layer it in 3 layers. We put our mushrooms in, then we put peppers, green onion, press it down a little bit, and the last of the salad dressing, which will have all the little bits in it as well. I don't put garlic in it because it's raw, and some people don't like raw garlic. We'll add garlic to the other mushroom salad. And then I just cover it with a plate and put it into the fridge, or you can leave it out of the fridge. Another thing about mushrooms is a lot of people will take the stalks off and only use the mushroom. I use the whole mushroom. Some people actually use the stalks in stews and soups, which is rather a nice idea. And there's a lot of flavor in the stalks. Our third and final mushroom salad, we're going to be making roasted portobello mushrooms and aubergine or eggplant. What I like to do is I roast the 2 of them together in the oven. You can roast it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes. And then halfway through the cooking process, I turn them over. And I do use parchment paper, which prevents them from sticking. So the way I do it is I take these beautiful portobello mushrooms and I'm going to cut them down the center. So what I do is I even off the stalk so that it's level with the mushroom cap. And most of these are fine. This one needs a little bit of trimming. And the reason I cut them in half is because I want them to be the same thickness as my aubergine. So I try to get an even shaped aubergine, and we're going to plate it in a circle. I grease the tray. And then we lay down the mushrooms, and they're going to turn halfway through, so it doesn't really matter which way you lay them down. Then for the aubergines, I want to also cut 8 pieces. So I top and tail it, and I put these on the tray. Brush the aubergines with olive oil. We know that the aubergines take in a lot of the liquid, so we do need quite a bit, and we've greased the other side, and if necessary, when they're turned, we can grease them again. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of salt on these and a little bit of oregano. Onto the mushrooms, we're going to put some of this fresh pesto. We don't need salt because there is salt in the pesto and the olive oil and of course the pine nuts. Once the portobello mushrooms and the aubergines are roasted, we'll plate them and garnish them with some parsley and parmesan. At the end of my video, I'm going to place a link to show you how I make this fresh pesto. And I know it's easy to take it off the shelf, but once you've made this, you will be hooked. Now we're going to put the aubergines and the portobello mushrooms into the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Turn the aubergines and portobello mushrooms halfway through the cooking process. Brush with olive oil and cook for a further 20 minutes. Remove from the oven when ready. The aubergines and portobello mushrooms have now cooled down, but we don't want them to be cold. We don't want to put them in the fridge. And they have olive oil on them, which means when they go in the fridge, the olive oil tends to solidify. So we want to keep them room temperature. And now we're going to plate them. I work on 1 portobello mushroom, so 2 slices in this case, and 2 slices of aubergine per person. So we put mushroom, aubergine, and then in the center I'm going to place some extra pesto for the pesto lovers, and I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil just around it here and a dusting of freshly grated parmesan, and just to brighten up a bit, some fresh parsley, which I'm not chopping, I'm just leaving in pieces. So there you have your warm aubergine and portobello mushroom salad. Here are the mushrooms which have now cooled down, and the marinade has penetrated the whole mushroom. It smells absolutely delicious with the sesame oil. I don't use all the sauce. You can see we have a little bit of sauce left here because I want to still see the mushrooms. I'm going to just mix it a little bit. It's only been marinating now for 3 hours and I want to leave it overnight. I'm not going to put it into the fridge because it will slow down the process. And tomorrow when we take it out, you'll see how the mushrooms have been marinated. 24 hours later and the marinated mushroom salad is ready to serve and enjoy. What I've learned about mushrooms is that you either love them or hate them. So I'm guessing all of you out there love them. If you put mushrooms into soups or stews, it just really makes a difference. It brings out what they call that umami flavor. My name is Lindy and thank you for joining my channel. If you enjoyed watching how I make mushroom salad 3 ways, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified when my next video is available. Take care and bye.